Tesla's cutting-edge technology was meant to make driving safer, but for some, it became a death trap. From mysterious crashes to fatal autopilot failures, these stories reveal the dark side of self-driving cars. In this video, we'll uncover 5 of the most disturbing Tesla deaths, real cases that raise serious questions about the future of automation. These tragic incidents highlight the risks and consequences of trusting technology over human control. It was January 1st, 2025, when an explosion shook the entrance of the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas. Around 9 a.m., a Tesla Cybertruck parked outside the hotel suddenly burst into flames, sending debris flying and causing panic among guests and pedestrians. This was not an accident. It was a planned attack by 37-year-old Matthew Allen Livelsberger, a United States Army Special Forces soldier. Livelsberger had prepared for this attack in advance. He rented the Cybertruck and loaded it with fireworks, mortars, gas canisters, and camping fuel, all rigged to detonate remotely. However, before triggering the explosion, he had already taken his own life, using a firearm placed near his feet. At the time of the blast, Livelsberger was the only one in the vehicle. 7 people nearby were injured, but none critically. The explosion did not cause major damage to the hotel, but it left investigators searching for answers. Authorities later discovered notes and a manifesto left behind by Livelsberger revealing his motives. He expressed deep political frustration and personal struggles, stating that his act was meant to grab the nation's attention. He believed that people only reacted to extreme events and saw the explosion as a way to highlight issues he felt were being ignored. His writings also reflected on his military past, particularly his time in Afghanistan. He spoke of the losses he had witnessed and the heavy burden he carried from his service. He had battled severe mental health issues, including post-traumatic stress disorder and depression, made worse by physical injuries from combat, including multiple concussions and back surgeries. Investigators found that Livelsberger had been planning the attack for weeks. His search history included information about explosives, ammunition, and fireworks regulations in Arizona. He had also documented his preparations, listing his purchases of firearms, camping gear, and other supplies. Despite his final act, Livelsberger had been highly regarded in the military. He was a decorated combat veteran who served multiple tours in Afghanistan as part of a Green Beret team. His colleagues remembered him as a compassionate and capable leader who risked his life for others. He had even specialized in dismantling explosive devices, an ironic contrast to the way he chose to carry out his attack. His ex-girlfriend, Alicia Artist, shared that he had often spoken about his struggles. He described feeling trapped in his own mind, haunted by his experiences in the military. He had mentioned his ongoing pain, both physical and emotional, and referred to his life as a constant battle. His manifesto revealed a deep disillusionment with the state of the country. He believed that the United States was in decline and saw drastic action as the only way to force change. Though he expressed admiration for President-elect Donald Trump and Tesla Chief Executive Officer Elon Musk, his attack was not directed at any specific individual. Instead, it seemed to be a statement of his overall dissatisfaction with the nation's leadership and direction. Despite the dramatic nature of the explosion, it did not achieve the large-scale destruction he may have intended. While his actions drew attention, they left behind more confusion than clarity. His military peers, who had known him as a loyal and selfless soldier, struggled to reconcile the man they respected with the person responsible for the attack. Authorities continue to investigate the case, including Livelsberger's use of artificial intelligence tools like ChatGPT in planning the event. His story raises important questions about mental health support for veterans and how to prevent similar tragedies. Many service members return home carrying invisible wounds, struggling to adjust to civilian life. Cases like Livelsberger's highlight the urgent need for better resources and support systems for those who have sacrificed for their country. On the morning of February 18, 2023, 31-year-old Giovanni Mendoza Martinez was driving his 2021 Tesla Model S on California's Interstate 680. He had activated the vehicle's autopilot feature, trusting in Tesla's promises of advanced self-driving capabilities. His brother, Caleb, was in the passenger seat. Suddenly, the car crashed into a parked fire truck, leading to Giovanni's death and leaving Caleb with severe injuries. The tragic accident has led to a lawsuit against Tesla, with Giovanni's family arguing that the company misled customers about the true capabilities of its autopilot system. They claim Tesla and its chief executive officer, Elon Musk, promoted the technology as more advanced than it really was, giving drivers a false sense of security. Tesla, however, denies responsibility, stating that drivers must remain attentive and in control of their vehicles at all times. The accident happened in the early morning near the San Francisco Bay Area. Emergency vehicles, including a fire truck, were parked across 2 lanes of the highway with their lights flashing. Tesla's autopilot had been engaged for about 12 minutes before the crash. According to the lawsuit, Giovanni had not made any manual adjustments during this time. No braking, steering, or acceleration. The system failed to detect the emergency vehicles correctly, misinterpreting the scene and failing to react. The Tesla struck the fire truck at 71 miles per hour. Giovanni was found trapped in the driver's seat, while Caleb survived with significant injuries. 4 firefighters at the scene also sustained minor injuries. Tesla argues that the crash was due to driver error rather than any fault in the autopilot system. The company claims that their cars are designed to be safe when used properly, and that drivers are responsible for staying engaged while using the system. Tesla also states that any injuries from the crash were likely due to improper maintenance or use of the vehicle rather than flaws in the technology. However, the Mendoza family and their attorney Brett Schreiber believe otherwise. They argue that Tesla's marketing led Giovanni to believe the car was capable of driving itself safely. Instead of issuing recalls to fix known issues, Tesla has continued to release software updates that do not fully resolve the problem. The lawsuit highlights Tesla's history of overstating the safety of its self-driving features. Between 2015 and 2022, the company received over 1,000 reports of autopilot-related crashes and 3,000 complaints about sudden acceleration or braking. Despite this, Tesla continues to market the technology as near-perfect. Musk himself has repeatedly made bold claims about Tesla's self-driving capabilities. In 2014, he stated that drivers would soon be able to travel from a highway on-ramp to an exit without touching the controls. In 2016, he claimed autopilot was probably better than a human driver. Statements like these convinced many, including Giovanni, that the technology was safer than it actually was. The Mendoza family argues that Tesla failed to provide adequate warnings about the limitations of autopilot. They believe Giovanni would have been more cautious if he had known the system's weaknesses. Instead, Tesla's marketing created the illusion of reliability, leading to a preventable accident. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, or NHTSA, has been investigating Tesla's autopilot system due to multiple crashes involving emergency vehicles. Over 6 years, 16 such incidents have been recorded, leading to 15 injuries and 1 death. The agency is looking into whether Tesla's claims about autopilot's capabilities have misled consumers. The Mendoza family's lawsuit is about more than just Giovanni's case. It raises broader concerns about the safety of self-driving technology. While the idea of autonomous vehicles is appealing, this case shows that the technology is still developing and can pose serious risks. For now, the lawsuit remains unresolved. The Mendoza family continues to seek accountability, hoping to prevent similar tragedies in the future. Their case serves as a crucial reminder that while technology can enhance safety, companies must be honest about its limitations. Until then, drivers must remain vigilant, no matter how advanced their vehicle may seem. On October 24, 2024, a devastating crash in Toronto claimed 4 lives and left 1 woman fighting to survive. The accident involved a Tesla Model Y, a high-tech electric vehicle known for its safety features. However, on this tragic day, the car became a death trap. The crash happened on Lakeshore Boulevard East at high speed. The driver lost control, causing the vehicle to hit a guardrail before slamming into a concrete pillar. The impact was severe, and within moments the car burst into flames. Inside were 5 friends, all trapped as the fire spread rapidly. The Tesla Model Y, like many modern electric cars, relies on electronic door handles that require power to function. After the crash, the doors became unresponsive, making escape nearly impossible. The only survivor, a young woman in her 20s, desperately tried to get out but was trapped inside. Rick Harper, a Canada Post employee who witnessed the crash, rushed to help. He later described the terrifying scene, recalling how the woman struggled to open the door, panicking and trying to get out, but the doors wouldn't budge. Thinking quickly, Harper grabbed a metal pole and shattered the window, allowing her to escape. The woman crawled out headfirst, scrambling to safety. Unfortunately, the other 4 passengers, Jay Sisodia, Digvijay Patel, 25-year-old Neilraj Gohil, and his 29-year-old sister Kataba Gohil, were unable to escape. Harper initially didn't realize there were others inside because the smoke was so thick. By the time he saw them, the fire had already consumed most of the vehicle. Electric vehicle fires are known to be difficult to extinguish, mainly due to the lithium-ion battery cells. In this case, the intensity of the fire was likely made worse by the impact of the crash. Firefighters have reported that Tesla battery fires require large amounts of water and can take much longer to put out than traditional car fires. The failure of the electronic doors only made things worse. Tesla vehicles have a manual override feature that allows doors to be opened in emergencies, but many owners are unaware of it. Even more concerning, not all Model Y cars have this feature for rear doors, meaning the passengers in the back had no way out. Investigators are still trying to determine the exact cause of the crash, but initial reports suggest the driver lost control before hitting the guardrail and pillar. Tesla has promoted its vehicles as some of the safest in the world, but this incident has raised serious concerns about their design. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, or NHTSA, has already opened investigations into the Model Y, focusing on issues like unintended acceleration and faulty braking systems. Now the attention is shifting to the potential dangers of electronic door locks in emergencies. Safety experts warn that in a chaotic, high-stress situation, most people won't have the time or knowledge to find and use the manual override. For the victims in this crash, their inability to exit the vehicle may have been the difference between life and death. The victims of this tragic accident were young, vibrant individuals with promising futures. Neilraj and Kataba Gohil were siblings, known for their kindness and close bond. Their deaths have left their family and friends heartbroken. Jay Sisodia and Digvijay Patel were also well loved by those who knew them. Their sudden loss has deeply affected their loved ones, who are struggling to come to terms with the horrifying way they lost their lives. The only survivor now faces a long road to recovery, not just physically, but emotionally. She will have to live with the trauma of that day, knowing her friends were trapped inside with no way out. As investigations continue, the focus will remain on Tesla's safety features and whether improvements need to be made. The tragedy has sparked renewed discussions about the risks of electric vehicles and whether manufacturers need to do more to ensure passengers can escape in emergencies. For now, families and friends mourn the loss of 4 young lives, taken far too soon. While the future may bring more clarity about what led to this disaster, nothing can undo the devastating loss suffered on that day. It was a quiet morning in 2022 when 34-year-old Landon Embry set out on his motorcycle for what seemed like an ordinary ride. He had spent years exploring Utah's open roads on his beloved Harley-Davidson. Riding wasn't just a hobby for him, it was something he deeply loved. But this ride would be his last. Landon was known for his kind and loyal nature. As the oldest of 4 siblings, he was always there for his family. He attended his niece's soccer games, supported his siblings, and never hesitated to help anyone in need. Just days before the accident, he had surprised his mother, Sandy, with flowers, a simple but heartfelt gesture. That morning, Landon was riding south on Interstate 15 near Draper, Utah. At the same time, a 2020 Tesla Model 3 was traveling in the same direction with its autopilot system engaged. Tesla's semi-autonomous driving feature is designed to assist with speed and steering, but still requires the driver's full attention. According to reports, the Tesla driver was extremely fatigued and not fully aware of their surroundings. The car, moving at 75 to 80 miles per hour, crashed into the back of Landon's motorcycle. The impact threw him off his bike, and he lost his life instantly. When authorities arrived, they found Landon's body on the side of the road. His family was devastated when police knocked on their door to deliver the heartbreaking news. The crash raised serious concerns about Tesla's autopilot system. The driver told the Utah Highway Patrol that they hadn't noticed Landon before the collision. This raised questions about the effectiveness of Tesla's technology. The system, designed to detect vehicles and prevent accidents, had failed to recognize Landon's motorcycle. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, or NHTSA, launched an investigation into the incident. This was not the first time Tesla's autopilot had been involved in a serious crash. In fact, since 2016, the NHTSA has been investigating more than 30 similar cases, some of which have also resulted in fatalities. Landon's accident became the 38th case under federal review, highlighting ongoing concerns about the technology. Landon's family, overwhelmed with grief, decided to take legal action. They filed a lawsuit against Tesla, arguing that the autopilot system was flawed and unsafe. They claimed that the technology had failed to detect motorcycles properly, something that had reportedly happened in previous cases. The lawsuit also focused on the actions of the Tesla driver. Landon's family insisted that the driver should have been paying full attention to the road instead of relying on the autopilot system. While Tesla markets its system as advanced, it is still just a driver assistance tool, not a fully autonomous feature. The case quickly gained public attention. Many people took to social media, expressing frustration over the risks associated with self-driving technology. Landon's close friend, Samuel Case, shared his anger online, saying that his friend had lost his life because of a system that wasn't ready for real-world use. Landon's death was not an isolated incident. Tesla's autopilot had been linked to multiple crashes, and experts were beginning to question whether the technology was truly safe. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration had opened several investigations into similar accidents, including 3 Tesla crashes in just 1 month. The problem seemed to be particularly concerning for motorcyclists, as Tesla's system reportedly struggled to detect smaller vehicles. As the lawsuit progressed, Landon's family made it clear that they wanted more than just justice for their loved one. They wanted Tesla to improve its technology to prevent similar accidents in the future. They also believed the driver should take responsibility for failing to stay alert. Tesla, however, remained silent on the matter, refusing to comment on the case. The driver of the vehicle was not immediately charged, and it was unclear whether they would face legal consequences. For Landon's family, the pain of losing him was made worse by the knowledge that his death could have been prevented. Friends and loved ones shared stories about his kindness and generosity. His sister Lindsay spoke about how he had always been there for her. His parents, Sandy and Lloyd, struggled to cope with the reality of life without their son. While the investigation into Tesla's autopilot system is still ongoing, Landon's tragic death has fueled an important conversation about the future of self-driving technology. His family hopes that by speaking out, they can push for changes that will make the roads safer for everyone, especially motorcyclists, who remain among the most vulnerable. Only time will tell whether Tesla will be held accountable. But one thing is clear, Landon Embry's story has become part of a much larger debate, one that is far from over. On the night of February 10, 2024, a tragic accident occurred on a remote ranch in the Texas Hill Country. Angela Chow, Chief Executive Officer of the shipping company Foremost Group and sister-in-law of Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, lost her life in an unforeseen and heartbreaking turn of events. At 50 years old, Angela was a respected business leader and philanthropist, admired for her sharp intellect and leadership in the shipping industry. Angela had invited friends to her family's 900-acre ranch to celebrate the Chinese New Year. The estate was a peaceful retreat with horse stables, a swimming pool, and a guest house where her friends were staying. The day had been filled with laughter and celebration, and as the night progressed, they shared dinner and drinks. Around 11:30 p.m., Angela decided to leave the guest house and return to the main house where her son was sleeping. Instead of walking, she chose to drive the short distance in her Tesla Model X. Security footage captured her walking unsteadily toward her car, showing clear signs of intoxication. Her blood alcohol level was later found to be 0.233, about 3 times the legal limit. At 11:37 p.m., Angela got into her Tesla, but something went wrong. The vehicle moved unpredictably, lurching forward before suddenly reversing. It went over a wooden barrier and plunged into a pond on the property. The car sank rapidly, trapping Angela inside. In a panic, she called a close friend, explaining that she had accidentally reversed instead of driving forward. Water was rising inside the vehicle, and despite her efforts, she couldn't escape. Her voice grew more desperate as she realized she was running out of time. Her friends sprang into action. One jumped into a kayak, paddling toward the sinking car while another swam, trying to reach her. They climbed onto the vehicle, doing everything they could to free Angela, but the water was rising too quickly. Deputies arrived at midnight, but by then, the car had been submerged for over 20 minutes. The ranch manager told them the back door was open, but they struggled to reach Angela. Breaking the windshield failed, so they attempted the driver's side window. Finally, a deputy managed to pull her from the car with help from a medic. Emergency responders performed cardiopulmonary resuscitation in a desperate attempt to save her, but it was too late. Angela was pronounced dead at 1:40 a.m. The accident was a devastating loss for her family, friends, and colleagues. Angela was known for her visionary leadership at Foremost Group, where she was a trailblazer for women in the shipping industry. She was deeply respected for her compassion toward her employees and her commitment to philanthropy. She co-chaired the Asian American Foundation's Advisory Council, working to support the Asian American and Pacific Islander communities. Her father, Dr. James S.C. Chow, described her as a thoughtful and dedicated leader who made a lasting impact. Angela was also a devoted mother, wife, sister, and aunt. Her husband, venture capitalist Jim Breyer, was heartbroken, along with the rest of her family, including her sister Elaine Chow, former United States Secretary of Transportation. Just days before the accident, Angela had enjoyed a concert and quality time with friends, making her sudden loss even more shocking. The tragedy was compounded by the remote location of the ranch, which delayed rescue efforts. Despite the quick response from her friends and authorities, it wasn't enough to save her. Angela's passing resonated beyond her personal and professional circles. Her connection to political leadership brought widespread attention to the incident. While alcohol played a role, authorities confirmed it was an unfortunate accident, leaving those who knew her to mourn both the circumstances of her passing and the loss of an inspiring leader. Though she is gone, Angela Chow's influence in business, philanthropy, and the lives of those who loved her will not be forgotten.